Hi everyone, Woothany Clantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Vince Staples EP, Hell Can Wait. Vince Staples is a West Coast rapper, much of whose come up has occurred underneath the Odd Future Wolfgang Kill Them All umbrella. He has also collaborated with the likes of Mac Miller. He's had some semi-successful solo mixtapes, some pretty great features out recently as well on the new Dilated Peoples record, on the new Earl record. When I hear this guy turn up on someone else's track, typically I end up liking it. But when it comes to Vince solo, I'm a little underwhelmed. Vince's typically relaxed flow works at two speeds: laid back and laid back. Also, if you give this guy's rapping a listen, you should pick up pretty easily a very old school Snoop Dogg type inflection. Now, I'm not saying his lyrics or his style are trash, but he is not exactly the lyricist of the year either. Sometimes his instrumental choices have been a little shoddy to me, and he's not exactly a song or hook writer, in my opinion, either. Sometimes his choruses can really be duds. So, in my opinion, Vince Staples can be a little boring for long strings of time, but he has a commercial full-length on the way. He is kind of teasing toward that with this new commercial EP. I figure I like his style enough to be curious about this project, and it's not a full-length. An EP naturally is going to be shorter. Plus, I did like one of the lead singles off of this EP, Blue Suede. We essentially have 7 new songs on this project, and while I'm not in love with it, I do think this is Vince's most consistently quality set of tracks yet. But there is a little bit of a range on this thing. We have great moments like 6500, which has one of the most killer hooks on the entire record. Even though it is simple, and Vince's choruses do tend to be simple, it's very, very sticky. The birds and the bees come fuck with a G. Plus, this track does have one of the better instrumentals on the entire record too. Very jazzy horns, strings that are very mournful and weepy playing underneath the verses, some chopped up piano samples as well, and over the beat, Vince sounds fantastic. He's putting a little bit more emotional inflection in his voice at times, to me, sounding a little bit like Andre 3000. And even though we do get a lot of typical gangsta rap themes in Vince's lyrics on this track and other tracks here, I think he does a good job of conjuring the hopelessness that comes out of such dire situations as the ones he is rapping about. Then there's Blue Suede, stellar instrumental. The trap hi-hats, the massive bass on this thing, the groove of it. As much as I love this beat, it's also a little bit of a double-edged sword too, because I feel like this song and 6500 do sort of highlight the fact that Vince, though he is a capable rapper, he is a little instrumental dependent. To continue with this track, I do love the surreal imagery in this song, the death fixated imagery in this song, sort of seeing your friends passing on and hoping that you're going to outlive the red roses that may be at either their tribute shrine somewhere wherever they had died, or on their grave at their funeral. I also love the eerie wailing synthesizer leads on this track too. It's like a weird dark fusion of Southern hip-hop and West Coast. But even though tracks like Screen Door are a little more thematic, it's hard getting into this track just because of how mundane it is as a song. The instrumental doesn't show that much variation. It's very skeletal, very minimalist, and Vince Staples doesn't really change up his flow or his inflection or his energy level that much across the length of the track either. And this is a 4-minute song, and it feels so much longer because of the lack of significant change. I feel the same way with the song Hands Up 2. I wish this song wasn't as subdued as it is, but it is an interesting track lyrically that addresses police violence, police corruption, cops gunning young kids down. And even though Vince doesn't name this location by name, a lot of people, because of recent events, are going to link this track directly with Ferguson. But stories like these are happening all over America, which I think is why it was smart to do sort of a more general thing on this track. Instrumentally, it should also be noted that Vince is kind of doing a nocturnal DJ Mustard flavored funk, and the instrumental's pretty fitting. While I do think the hands up don't shoot and the put your hands in the air, as you would typically hear in a hip-hop song parallel, is very clever, there are some moments on here like the opener which do hit hard instrumentally, but lyrically and flow-wise, it's just kind of okay. And occasionally Vince shows sort of a softer side of himself, like on the song Limos. Not every song needs to be as brutal as the closing track here, which does have a line that grips me even now, where he says he's going to put the burner in your mouth and free your mind. But I still think Vince is on a journey to find his real standout voice. While he can rap, he sounds fine on a beat, I think he's still got a little bit of progress to make when it comes to compelling songwriting and finding a narrative and an angle that will separate him from all the other rappers out there that are rapping about similar topics. I'm feeling a light of decent on this thing. Transition. If you've given this EP a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Vince Staples. Forever.